Professor Goose debunks Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Written by Paulette BOURGEOIS, illustrated by Alex G. Griffiths. Well, I'll be plucked and stuffed. This is shocking. Looks like Great Aunt Mother Goose never fact-checked the science in her fairy tales. I cannot sit by and let fairy tales and nursery rhymes misinform millions of readers. Join me, renowned and distinguished Professor Mary Curious Goose, as I debunk this faulty fairy tale. Once upon a time, there was a papa bear, a mama bear, and a baby bear who lived in a cottage by the woods. They made porridge for breakfast, but it was too hot to eat, so they went for a walk while it cooled. Really, bears don't live like us. They have their own natural habitat. Bears don't live in a cottage with curtains on the windows. They live in dens. Bears don't eat porridge. Well, maybe if there were honey and nuts and berries on top. Now I'm hungry as a bear. Ha! Professor Goose's fact check. Biologists study life and living things. They tell us that in their natural habitat, some bears make dens under the roots of trees. Others dig into hills or find cozy caves, and some, like polar bears, make dens in snow. Bears usually eat what they find in their habitats. Some of them like human garbage, but it's unhealthy for them. Pandas are the pickiest eaters. Most of them eat only bamboo. A little girl named Goldilocks was lost in the woods. When she found the bear's home, she was tired and hungry. The door was unlocked, so she went inside. I get lost too, but only in my thoughts. Ha! I could look at the position of the stars and sun to find my way, except that doesn't work on cloudy days. Good thing I have a phone with GPS. Professor Goose's fact check. Satellites that float high above the earth send out radio signals that are received by your phone, which will pinpoint where you are and where you're going. This is called GPS, or Global Positioning Systems. Before the bear family went on their walk, Papa Bear had put a big scoop of hot porridge into his bowl. He put a medium-sized scoop into Mama Bear's medium-sized bowl. And he put a tinsy-wincy scoop in Baby Bear's tinsy-wincy bowl. Goldilocks was ravenous. She tasted the porridge in the big bowl. Too hot, she said. She tasted the porridge in the medium-sized bowl. Too cold, she said. Then Goldilocks tasted the porridge in the tinsy-wincy bowl. Just right, she said, and she gobbled it all up. Sounds like Goldilocks needs to brush up on the laws of thermodynamics. Science tells us that Papa's big bowl would be too hot, Mama's medium-sized bowl would be just right, and Baby's tinsy-wincy bowl would be too cold. Porridge sticks to my beak. Yuck! Goldilocks should try my favorite breakfast, a hot chocolate with whipped cream and waffles with maple syrup. Professor Goose's fact check. Thermodynamics is a big word for a big idea in science. Its laws explain how heat and energy move through the universe. Porridge, like almost everything else, is made up of many particles that are too small to see with the naked eye. As the porridge cooked, the particles moved faster and faster, increasing thermal energy. Thermodynamics tells us that hot porridge cools down as thermal energy moves toward the cool air around it. With more particles in the big bowl, there was more thermal energy, so it took longer to cool. If Goldilocks had waited, eventually the porridge in the medium size, and the teensy weensy bowls would have all become the same temperature as the air. Goldilocks was very tired and needed to sit down. She sat in Papa Bear's chair. "Too hard," she said. Next, she sat in Mama Bear's chair. "Too soft," she said. And then she sat in Baby Bear's chair. "Just right," she said. Crack! The chair broke. Wham! Goldilocks fell to the ground. Ouch! Downward forces can be a pain in the rump. And now, poor Baby Bear is without a chair because Goldilocks didn't know how to fix it. If only she'd taken my class, How to Engineer a Chair for a Bear. You can make almost anything from cardboard, except maybe a toothbrush. Professor Goose fact check. Goldilocks broke the chair because she extended a downward force that was greater than the chair's upward force. In other words, she sat down on the chair that was too small and too flimsy to support her weight. Goldilocks yawned. Upstairs, she discovered 3 beds. She tried Papa Bear's bed. "Too hard," she said. She tried Mama Bear's bed. "Too soft," she said. And then she tried Baby Bear's bed. "Just right," she said. And Goldilocks fell fast asleep. Yawn. I feel sleepy too sometimes. I wish geese could hibernate. Every animal, bears, and little children and professors need sleep. Sleep helps our brain support out what we've learned and helps us grow healthy bodies. We dream during the deepest part of our sleep. I dream of winning the Nobel Prize for revealing the faulty science in fairy tales. Professor Goose fact check. Hibernation is a type of long, very deep sleep. But did you know that bears don't actually hibernate? Some animals, like bats, have a true hibernation where their heartbeats become very slow and they don't wake up when disturbed. Some kind of bears fall into a different type of sleep called torpor in winter. They can sleep for more than 100 days without eating, drinking, or going to the bathroom. But they can wake easily from a torpor if hurt or threatened. Mama bears even have their babies when they fall asleep again. P.S. The babies sleep happily until spring too. When the 3 bears came home, they were surprised to find that their things were not as they left them. "Somebody ate our porridge," said Papa Bear. "Somebody sat in our chairs," said Mama Bear. "Somebody broke my chair," said Baby Bear. "But who?" Fabulous. Baby Bear might be a budding scientist. I think she's about to use the scientific method to solve the mystery. Professor Goose's fact check. The scientific method is a set of steps that scientists and many others use to test their ideas. It starts with an observation and a question. To answer the question, what causes something to happen, they test their hypotheses and collect and record information called data. Then, they come to a conclusion and share what they have learned with others. Baby Bear observed the following. Some porridge was missing from her parents' bowl, and her bowl was empty. Papa and Mama's chairs had been moved, and hers was completely destroyed. There was a long curly blonde hair in the empty bowl, and a trail of muddy footprints went up to the stairs to the bedroom. She said, "I hypothesized that we have a hungry blonde human who came in from the woods, who is bigger and heavier than me, but not as big as either of you." "Is it still here?" asked Mama Bear. "I predict that it is somewhere in the house, probably upstairs," said Baby Bear, pointing to the muddy footprints. They crept into the bedroom. "There it is," cried Baby Bear. Goldilocks woke with a start. She took one look at the bears, then leaped out of the bed and escaped through the window. "Don't go!" cried Baby Bear, but Goldilocks was already far away. Yikes! Good thing she landed in the bush. I hope it wasn't poisonous ivy. Goldilocks must have been really scared, which triggered a typical flight or flight response. Professor Goose's fact check. When we are frightened, our bodies try to protect us with a fight or flight response. If we sense danger, like would happen when we face a scary animal, our brain sends a message to our muscles to tense up so we can fight off the danger or take flight and escape. That's where the story usually ends, but based on my observation of the bear family, I propose other conclusions. Papa Bear rubbed his growling tummy and said, "If that little girl ever comes back, she had better bring some berries." Mama Bear made a sign for the front door, and Baby Bear designed and built herself a brand new chair. Turn the page to find out how you can engineer a chair for a bear. How to engineer a chair for a bear. You need 3 square pieces of cardboard about 9 inches or 24 centimeters on each side. 4 empty toilet paper rolls. Make sure you already used up all the toilet paper on them. 1 cardboard egg carton. Step 1. Make the seat of the chair. To make a sturdy seat, we'll make what I like to call a seat sandwich. Take a sheet of scrap paper and roll it into a tight tube-like straw. Then tape it at both ends so it stays rolled up. Make enough straw to cover 1 square of cardboard. This is the filling of the sandwich. Some scrap paper or newsprint, craft glue, tape, white tape like duct tape or masking tape works best. 2 craft or popsicle sticks about 8 inches, 20 centimeters long, a sharp knife or scissors. Ask an adult for help when using. Next, glue the straps to one side of the cardboard square. Then take a second square of cardboard and glue it on the top to complete the seat sandwich. Warning, it tastes terrible. Do not eat. Trim any bits of straw that are sticking out of the sandwich. Step 2. Build the legs. For the legs, we'll use the toilet paper rolls, the egg carton, and tape. The toilet paper rolls will be legs, but they need to be reinforced before we can stick them on the chair. Separate the egg carton into at least 8 cups. Use your hands to tear it or ask an adult for help with scissors. Now squish 1 cup into each end of the toilet paper rolls, then seal it in place with tape. Glue the one end of toilet paper roll to each corner of the seat sandwich. You've got a fine stool now, but keep going if you want to make the chair with a back. Step 3. Build the back. To make the back of the chair, we'll use our remaining piece of cardboard, our craft sticks, glue, a sharp knife or scissors, and an adult. The craft sticks will go into the seat and will help back of the chair stand up. Pick a side of the seat. With an adult's help, use the knife or scissors to cut 2 horizontal slits, the same width as the craft sticks, into the top and filling of the seat of the sandwich. Gently slide the craft stick into the slits until they hit the bottom of the seat sandwich. Now tip the chair over so that the craft sticks are flat on your work surface. Apply some glue to the craft sticks, then put your remaining piece of cardboard on the glue. Once the glue dries, Congratulations, you engineered a chair. Now you're ready to invite a bear to lunch. But don't give her porridge. The end.